Hello, good evening. How are you doing? I hope you are well. Sorry about my voice, it's a bit on the croaky side. I may have some sort of illness, I don't know. But I'm sure I'll be alright. Okay, so tonight, Krsna, Hennessy interview. Finally. I know obviously the majority was probably in English anyway, but obviously the certain part. Look, I just want to get the whole thing, okay? So Gameron provided not the lyrics, no, he provided the subtitles, and this is part one, so 22 minutes. Let's see. Obviously, I've already done a Krsna, well, say done. One day, hopefully, I'll do a Krsna interview. Actually interviewing him myself, but I've already sort of done a little watch along with one with King Crooked, yeah. Anyways, right, okay, no more talking, more watching, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to India's ultimate hip-hop podcast. Rolling Stone India presents Hennessy Freestyle. My name is Nirmika and I'm so excited, thrilled, happy to have Krsna with me. Welcome, Krsna.
Thank you, Nirmika, thank you.
How are you doing today? We are super excited and we were just discussing our earliest days of music and
Right.
hip-hop in Delhi.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
How is it right now?
I think the scene is amazing right now, We've seen how far it's come and the things that are happening in hip-hop, in Indian hip-hop. So I think it's a great time to be here and now.
It's so inspiring, Krsna, every time you say that, it's a great time to be an artist, it's a great time to be doing what you're doing. And we've seen you do all the things that you do with so much belief and conviction.
And to add that, he's been doing that for a lot longer than most peeps out there. So yeah, let's just get that out there in the open. Do you know what I mean? He's been practicing and been honing his craft and his art. That is hip hop. He's been doing that for a very long time. There's actually a track that someone sent me on Instagram, I think it was, or someone left the link. I can't remember. Make yourself known if it's you. Where it was Krishna's first ever recorded track. It was like dated 2004, and the title. So that's I'm going to look into that as well. And I think from what I sort of like sampled, it sounded a little bit hard to hear, but I think it was in English. I don't know, but obviously that's going to come as well. So yeah, I'll just message Krsna and be like, yo, can you just send me the lyrics, please, bro, to this song that you probably don't even have the lyrics to anymore. Lol. Right, let's get on with it.
I want you to rewind the tape for us and tell us where you situate your artistry in. Was it the external environment at home? Was it the earliest inspirations that you borrowed? Your stint in London?
I think it was a lot of it was honestly the environment that I was in, because I sort of started rapping when I was in London, and everyone around me was, into the culture already. And coming from India, it felt like, a new culture for me. So I kind of gravitated towards it because of just how it turned. Like, so if in my school, if someone rapped, they were automatically cool, so I kind of automatically gravitated towards it, because I thought, like making this sort of music can really sort of, change a person's or like, in the hierarchy of things, like it just elevates you. So that's how I kind of got into it. And as soon as I got into it, I think I quickly was so into it that then it just became a thing that I always wanted to do, And even at the time when it wasn't like something, even at a time when I didn't think it was the only thing I wanted to do, maybe,
Right.
It was like I always wanted to do it on the side. I always thought that maybe this will stick with me through life or not, I don't know. But I never started with the idea that it was going to be my profession, but I came upon it like as I kept progressing and I kept, writing and making songs, and I suddenly felt that maybe I can do this,
Brilliant. Creativity
are.
ki baat karte hain, so a lot of people talk about talent. And I know that there are so
See, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I like Krsna so much, because in a way I can relate to, apart from obviously, writing lyrics and stuff, but I can relate to him because that's what it is. Like, when we moved to the UK in the early 2000s, like, yeah, early 2000s, that's when obviously it became more for me as well, like when I sort of went more into the culture. And that's like, that's like my idols, for example, are from hip hop. Like, that's it. That those are my idols. Like, those are my absolute like idols. So it just goes to show how much it takes over, but without making it sound bad. I don't mean like sounding bad, but like it takes over your life, and you just sort of have to accept it. It's if you enjoy it and you love it, you have to accept it, and that's what he did.
So many components to it, right? There is talent, there is temperament, there is drive, just being in the right sort of circle, making things happen for yourself. If you were to deconstruct, all the components that really led to the finishing product that is an artist, what would those components be?
Honestly, I think with me, those components are, I think I depend a lot upon my writing, so a lot of people through my journey have told me different things and told me that maybe, you write well, maybe you should just write, maybe you should just write for other people, and I have been in situations where I've written for other people,
Right.
No, not at all.
and but I think it's just
Wait, sorry. Was that? No, obviously that wasn't part of the actual Hennessy interview. So Cameron, if you did that, right, bruh, shout out to you. That was fucking incredible. What the fuck? Can we just... Oh, shit, that made me chuckle,
and
man.
I have been in situations where I've written for other people,
Right.
and but I think it's just when you write, you know how to deliver whatever message you want to give,
Yeah, look, yes, he's right. Like, even with like screenwriting, because that's what like, that's one of my loves, one of my passions is screenwriting. And he's right. Like, you sort of, even when you screenwriting, like, you kind of write the main character, for example, you kind of give him your traits, because obviously that's that's the vision. But I don't know, like, it's hard to explain. Like, you just you know what you are writing and how you are thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why it's best. So yeah, I totally agree with that, and that's brilliant. That's Sometimes it's hard to write for other people as well.
in your mind you've written a certain way and you would like to deliver it.
Sure.
So that kind of pushed me to actually just stick to it and say, no, I want to be the rapper and I want to say what I write.
Right.
So
His
I
mic
think
game is
that
pretty
became
shit,
a
though.
huge part of my persona even today.
Right.
People might have discovered it late, but I've always been doing that. I've been writing, I've been sort of concentrating on what I write, about techniques, all of that stuff. So that is probably the biggest component of my artistry. Everything else is incidental, I feel.
वाओ हिप हॉप का मुझे लगता है एक स्पेक्ट्रम है राइट और आपके लिए बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं लाइक यू सेड पीपल
Fam, do I have to like do that? Oh, okay.
लगता है एक स्पेक्ट्रम है राइट और आपके लिए बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं लाइक यू सेड पीपल
Fam, like, where's the where's the subs, bruh?
read you very differently. Some people call you the OG. A lot of people call you an underrated talent. Your music and your writing
Lol.
grows on them. And I also feel that a lot of
Okay, look, underrated, as in, like, because again, people want commercial tracks. Like, that's what they're used to. That's what they want. They want something to like vibe to, and that's fine. That's fine. But again, like, when I talk about hip hop, I'm talking like the essence of hip hop. Like, what I love about hip hop, and how that's why, obviously, that's, and my opinion to some, obviously, to some people out there is different, because I'm talking about the actual hip hop. And look, I get it, there is vibe tracks, but again, even in a vibe track, you still need to like talk about, you don't need to, obviously, you don't need to talk about anything serious or anything like that, obviously, because it's a vibe track. But you just, sometimes it's too many vibe tracks, and too little actual technical tracks, and that just makes me question the artist for the genre that obviously I'm listening to him for, you know? If that made any sense, bro. Any sense. I'm
People
ill of it.
find you
And I'm not talking about being sick because I'm too sick, but I'm ill.
to be misinterpreted as an artist as well, right? And the spectrum is only growing, I feel. Where do you situate yourself on that spectrum? You said you're a writer first. Is that the beginning? Is that the summary of what you continue to be?
हाँ, मुझे लगता है कि
Oh, there you go.
ये एक तो underrated is something that you can't call yourself. I don't call myself and I don't say I'm underrated, you know. वो तो लोगों के लिए है to judge. But I would say that yeah, sometimes as an artist जब इतने साल कुछ कर रहे हो and you know you are not seeing the fruits of it, तो लगता है कि you know you start doubting yourself. You think maybe you know मैं कुछ अलग कर रहा हूँ या मैं कुछ गलत कर रहा हूँ या you know. And मैंने हमेशा कोशिश करी है to you know fix things that if I saw that you know maybe this will be better and people will understand me better if I do this, तो मैं ये करने की कोशिश करता हूँ. और वो मैंने किया है. इनफैक्ट एक एग्जाम्पल है ऑफ दीज स्मॉल लिटिल थिंग्स दैट आई कीप चेंजिंग एंड ट्राइंग टू गेट रिजल्ट्स विद इज कि एक टाइम था दैट मेरी ऑडियंस इनफैक्ट मैं दिल्ली में रह रहा था. आई वाज लिविंग इन दिल्ली बट मेरी ऑडियंस मुंबई में बिगर थी. आई हैड अ बिगर ऑडियंस इन मुंबई एंड आई नेवर अंडरस्टूड व्हाई. मेरे को नहीं समझ आता था क्यों you know दिल्ली में क्यों नहीं सुन रहे लोग इतने जितने बॉम्बे में सुन रहे हैं.
और आपको कैसे पता चल रहा था कि ज़्यादा?
बिकॉज सोशल मीडिया एवरीथिंग सारे स्टेटिस्टिक्स वर पॉइंटिंग टुवर्ड्स मुंबई. सो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने थोड़े थोड़े ना म्यूजिक में चेंज करने लग गया. मैं थोड़े दिल्ली वर्ड्स यूज करने लग गया. आई स्टार्टेड मेंशनिंग माय सिटी अ लॉट मोर, ऑल ऑफ दैट. एंड विद इन 2 to 3 years my demographic changed, you know. Wow. And now it's like Delhi is a little ahead, but so now I feel like I have base in 2 big cities, you know, instead of having just that one.
That is brilliant.
Yeah. So ऐसी चीजें I think as an artist वो करनी पड़ती है बार-बार, and you know you have to just fix things. Again मैंने बोला कि I won't call.
See, again, going back to the art and the craft, he adapts himself to, like, you know what I mean? He adapts his art and craft to for a bigger demographic. And that's an artist, bro. That's an artist. I don't even know why that's up for discussion.
Call myself underrated, but the thing is that it's important to learn or understand when something is not working. You know,
sure.
As an artist कई बार हम denial में होते हैं. हमें लगता है कि नहीं जो हम कर रहे हैं वही सही है और दुनिया नहीं, you know, दुनिया को समझ नहीं आ रही हम क्या कर रहे हैं, you know. एंड टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट मैंने अपना जो स्टाइल था राइटिंग का वो चेंज नहीं किया किसी के लिए. बट थोड़ी थोड़ी चीज़ें हैं जो कर सकते हो दैट विल जस्ट मेक इट मोर पैलेटेबल फॉर पीपल टू कंज्यूम. उनके लिए आसान हो जाता है कंज्यूम करना. मेरे को लोग लिरिकल बोलते हैं बट देर आर अदर लिरिसिस्ट्स इन दिस यू नो इन दिस हिप हॉप स्पेस एज वेल. I won't say I'm doing better than them or anything, but मेरे गाने certain lyricists से ज़्यादा consume क्यों हो रहे हैं? क्योंकि वो मैंने एक तरह से सोचा है कि if I deliver these things this way, it will be easier for them to consume.
Sure.
Wait a second.
If I deliver these things this way, it will be easier for them to consume.
Sure.
Two lyricists for sure.
As opposed to make it heavy and complicated and stuff like that. So it is always good to strike a balance and understand where that balance is.
Brilliant. So these are strategic and tactical moves, and I think जो आपने बोला, the fact that you started using more Delhi terms in your music also harks back to a very universal phenomenon कि जब भी हम अपने घर से अलग होते हैं, we start, you know, maybe becoming more conscious and more expressive of where we come from. And I think that happened with you as well, right? The fact that the relatability factor poured in. The fact that you're so conscious of what people want and you are able to balance it, does that make you a natural at the business of music as well, you feel?
Probably more so than a lot of other artists, but I think also because I have spent time in the business of music.
Correct.
You know, early on I did I had a stint at a record label. I ran an electronic music label. And वो थोड़ा सा, that understanding sort of.
My mic game is on fucking point as well, isn't it? 2 seconds, because I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this usually being on a t-shirt in it. Do you know what? I'm gonna put on a t-shirt because I'm sorry about the mic noise. I genuinely am. There we go. So you can hear my croaky voice even more now.
Seeps in, and then whatever you do, you are seeing it strategically as well as artistically.
Sure.
Important होता है एक artist के लिए to sort of have, in a way, an outer body experience where you can look at yourself objectively.
Wow.
And say, this is me as an artist. अब इसके growth के लिए, what would you tell yourself if you were a music executive or someone working on the other side of music, So I think वो important है to understand that, and to understand that there is a business to music, and there is another side to music, and you can be an artist that doesn't care for it, sure, but on some level it will only help you if you understand it and you can use it to your advantage.
Absolutely.
ये नहीं कि मतलब वो बोल रहे हैं तो मैंने कर दिया. That's not the idea. The idea is always to be.
Bro, where's the translations at, fam? Like, I know you've done some, but look, fair enough. I have to admit, right, you've done well with the little pictures thrown in there, but
Be yourself and to break boundaries, but कि अगर उसमें कुछ, it's like constructive criticism.
Sure.
अगर वहाँ कुछ उसमें कुछ मिल सकता है उससे, then why not incorporate?
So Krishna, Sellout से Still Here का जो सफर है, even for your fans, has been remarkable because they've seen such a rich body of diversity and work which has changed over time and evolved over time. And you're saying that there's always been that constant balance that you're striking as an artist, as a business person. In the current, how much of that balance totally relies on your sort of instinct and your sort of vision, and what is it for an artist today, right now, to be striking that balance?
I think it's important to understand the market, first of all. I think, कि it's always good to see, it's not good to be obsessed with social media. And I'm not on social media that much. But I feel like social media is a good tool to understand the conversations around your music, और अगर it always ऐसे तो हमेशा होगा कि कोई एक दो चीज़ें बोल देगा, ignore it. But अगर एक जनरल कंसेंसस है म्यूज़िक के बारे में, तुम्हारे म्यूज़िक के बारे में, तो वो ज़्यादातर एक तरह से राइट होती है, बिकॉज इट इज़ द ऑडियंस, राइट? एंड हु आर यू मेकिंग दैट म्यूजिक फॉर? आई नो अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, म्यूजिशियंस से दैट वी मेक म्यूजिक फॉर आवरसेल्व्स, बट you are putting it out in the world and you hope that people hear it, right?
Sure.
Otherwise you just
Makes
keep
sense.
it in your hard drive and listen yourself, right? तो अगर आप उसको रिलीज कर रहे हो, then it is your responsibility in some way to understand what the world is saying about it. Don't get obsessed with it, obviously, but कि अगर लोग कुछ बोल रहे हैं, अगर कई आर्टिस्ट का ऐसा होता है कि मोनोटोनस हो जाता है, और अगर वो उस पर ध्यान नहीं देते, देन यू कैन काइंड ऑफ टेपर ऑफ, कि मतलब थोड़ा योर लिसनरशिप विल फॉल ऑफ, बिकॉज पीपल
I'm sorry.
होता है कि मोनोटोनस हो जाता है, और अगर वो उस पर ध्यान नहीं देते, देन यू कैन काइंड ऑफ टेपर ऑफ, कि मतलब थोड़ा योर लिसनरशिप विल फॉल ऑफ, बिकॉज पीपल स्टार्ट गेटिंग बोर्ड. तो ये इम्पोर्टेंट होता है कि यू सी कि मार्केट में क्या हो रहा है, एंड देन वर्क बैकवर्ड्स, कि मैं इसमें क्या कर सकता हूँ, दैट आई डोंट वांट टू लूज माय आर्टिस्ट्री, बट आई स्टिल वांट टू give people to a certain extent, give them what they want as well,
Right.
तो वो balance I think important होता है, and it is overlooked sometimes, but I think people should use these tools to sort of get feedback, you know, and use what you
You're an
think
artist.
is
That's what you should
useful.
be doing.
Don't use everything.
And again, he's right. Like, fucking hell, if you're an artist, yeah, you make music for yourself, but again, you are putting it out there, so therefore, you want people to respond to it positively or negatively. Obviously, no one wants negative, but you know it's going to happen. So I'm just saying, like, you put music out there, you best be prepared for people to judge it, or any type of content. If you're putting it out there, like, people are going to judge, people are going to comment, people are going to have their own opinion. That's fine. Abuse and fucking, you know, internet abuse is just, it is what it is. Like, you just have to get used to it. So, you know,
Because you know people can say anything. So I think that is important. And अगर हम sell out और still here की बात कर रहे हैं तो sell out में I was the same person, you know, as I am now. It is just that the craft has improved, the sort of techniques have improved, the delivery has improved. But that I lay that down to practice. And when I was making Sellout, उस time मेरे पास टाइम नहीं था. मैंने वो एल्बम 1.5-2 महीने में बनाई थी. देयर वाज अ लॉट गोइंग ऑन, यू नो. एंड मैं हिंदी में रैप करता था और मैंने सडनली इंग्लिश में एल्बम बनाई, यू नो. So I was not completely in tune, you know. So there are things that I look back at Sellout, and I think, you know, there were elements that were really good,
Right.
which could have been so much better, you know.
Right.
And I know it's a constant journey, so maybe 3, 4, 5 years down the line I'll look at Still Here and be like, okay, there were elements that were
Sure.
good and it could be better. But the fact is that you learn and then you try and put that into your next piece of work, you know.
Right.
And I feel like that is what I've done after my album. After Still Here has been out, I've changed a lot of my music in certain ways, and that has yielded a result. People are, you know, people are reacting to it very differently now. So I have not, मैंने ऐसे, I didn't let it be stagnant. I didn't let it be कि मेरी एल्बम आई और इस एल्बम में ऐसे गाने थे तो मैं ऐसे ही गाने बनाऊंगा. You know?
Correct.
I took a break, and whatever I released after that, I kind of changed what I was doing, you know.
Sure.
So I
Yeah, and
think
it
those
shows.
are
And it
little
shows.
elements that are
Sure.
important.
It's fascinating when you speak about craft. I think a lot of people try to, or even, you know, budding musicians will try to demystify what is it to make a good piece of art, you know, and how do you get like that decent success. I feel personally,
Just let
I
me do
think
the
it's the
interview, bro.
tools of creativity that you can learn. Creativity, you know, that is completely, you know, your core and your absolute truest authentic self. आपके क्या tools हैं? What are the औजार क्या हैं? What are the things? Would you say is it just practicing writing, production chops, listening?
I think अभी भी मेरे को the biggest influence in terms of what I make is the influence of what I heard
Sure.
when I was younger, not now.
Yes.
You know, as you get older, you will stop listening to that much new music and
Yeah.
rely on what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
used to learn
Yeah.
in your formative sort of years, you know. And तो मेरे लिए that is what I feel is still a big influence. But मैं क्या करता हूँ, मैं try करता हूँ कि, you know, कुछ elements हैं किसी artist के जो मेरे को बहुत अच्छे लगते हैं. How do I incorporate it in my way? कि मैं अगर आज गाना बनाऊंगा, I'll try and be current. But वो मेरे को जो अच्छा लगता था उसके बारे में, जैसे स्मॉल एग्जांपल, अगर मैं जैसे रैप के बीच में हारमोनी डालना, कि एक सेक्शन में रैप के पीछे हारमोनी चल रहा है, सादा लोग नहीं करते, बाहर करते हैं कोई रैपर्स. I like that element, so I'll try and incorporate it into my music. You know, even like Blowing Up has those elements. You know, these songs have those elements because I have enjoyed those elements. You know, so I kind of take those and try and sort of twist it into my own, you know, in my own artistry and all of that, and then make a product that might be unique. You know.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, absolutely. I think our influences and our inspirations really truly shape us.
Right.
And you also spoke about knowing the market really well and being very cognizant of what's working, what's not. आज की डेट में मार्केट का क्या सीन है? आप मेरे को बताएं बिजनेस पर्सन के रूप में.
नहीं, आई थिंक हिप हॉप इज ऑन अप एंड अप. हिप हॉप में अभी movement बहुत है. There's a lot of activity. I think tier 2 cities are next, you know, Uttarakhand, you know, other states are catching on. Bihar,
Sure.
like, you know, and the Northeast, they have a scene of their own. तो ये सारे जो regions हैं, I think vernacular rap and regional rap is the
And again, you can tell. I mean, with shows like MTV Hustle and obviously, you know, just with YouTube in general, there's a lot of artists that are coming out from India as a subcontinent in general. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot. So, and that's good. That's really fucking good because it just provides more diversity, and then that's when you'll start knowing who's actually good and who's going to be the best and all that kind of shit. But obviously, like the likes of Krishna, Divine, Rafta, these are like the sort of maybe the first wave. You know what I mean? Like these are sort of like you could probably count these guys as sort of, you know, the late 80s, early 90s hip hop, like, you know, from when it started. Like that's these guys, the foundations, and then you've got others like, you know, like the J Tricks nowadays, like the CD Mots, that type of stuff. You know, they're going to take over, like Tala and Drums, Youngsters. So it's good to see. It's good to see like the sort of evolution it's happening, and within the year that I've been listening to this, I've been introduced to a lot of DHH artists, a lot of them. As you probably, if you've been following the channel, you would know that.
next frontier. The real challenge is how do you break from regional rap to national?
Sure.
You know, and that is a challenge because regional rap में, you know, हम हमेशा encourage करते हैं as hip hop artists कि आपको अपने लैंग्वेज में रैप करना चाहिए, यू नो, क्योंकि जापान में जापानीज़ में करते हैं, फ्रांस में फ्रेंच में करते हैं, बट इंडिया में प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इतने सारे लैंग्वेजेस हैं एंड दे आर नॉट स्पोकन बाय एवरीबडी. तो हाउ डू यू ट्रांजिशन इज़ द रियल, यू नो, द रियल चैलेंज कि आप वर्नैक्युलर रैप तो कर लोगे और आप अपने स्टेट में यू विल बी द बिगेस्ट मे बी, but how do you then transform and, you know, become a sort of rapper in the national sense, you know? So I feel like there's an unfair advantage in terms of, you know, like the Hindi speaking population, they have an advantage there, but I don't think it's impossible. I think मैंने जो English और हिंदी के साथ किया है, the blend and the in fact I feel like जितना मैं English use करता हूँ, मैंने काफ़ी हद तक उसको इंडियनाइज कर दिया है by the way I use it.
All right.
You know, so maybe do that into like maybe do Hindi and your vernacular, you know, so that you reach two markets, you know. So मेरे हिसाब से that is a new frontier, and that has to sort of, we have to see कि वो क्या होता है उसका, but definitely like other regions, smaller regions, tier 2, tier 3, that's the next sort of frontier in hip hop.
Sure. Could the bridge between what's happening regionally and what could happen nationally be collaborations? Could people like yourself look at that as one of the ways in which, say, a breakout rapper could be the next big thing?
You know, मेरे को लगता है collaboration से things can happen to a certain extent, but collaborations don't make someone's career.
Correct.
Collaborations work sometimes unexpected. मैंने एक गाना किया था, I don't know if you know, Young Stunners के साथ. Young Stunners are two rappers from Pakistan, from Karachi.
Pow, 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 pow.
And I did a song called Quarantine with them, right
Yeah,
at
boy.
the beginning of when COVID was
Find that right here.
something that was coming
Right.
to the world, you know. And that song did so well, we did not expect it.
Wow.
We did not think it would do so well.
Sick track.
In a way,
Sick track.
it gave Young Stunners an audience in India, and it gave me an audience in Pakistan, you know. So like on Spotify stats, Karachi is like my second or third highest
Oh, wow.
listenership, you know. So
That's pretty awesome.
I
like.
think those kind of collaborations can be remarkable.
Sure.
But those are not collaborations that you can sometimes plan
Yes.
and say कि मैं ये करूँगा और इससे ये हो जाएगा,
Yes.
you know. तो collaboration can sometimes work but sometimes not work. And I think क्या होता है जब ऐसे collaboration करते हैं जहाँ दो language हैं, that doesn't break into either market sometimes,
Okay.
you know.
ऐसा हुआ आपके साथ?
मेरे साथ नहीं हुआ बट मैंने देखा है कई बार हो चुका है ऐसे, you know, क्योंकि क्या होता है पूरा गाना ना यहाँ कंज्यूम होता है ना वहाँ कंज्यूम होता है. So there has to be okay, if you are a name and if you built up a reputation and built up numbers in your own sort of language and in your region, and then you collaborate with someone who's done the same in their region, and then intertwine it in a way that it is that everyone can understand and listen to it, that is what will work.
Correct.
But that is easier said than done, in my opinion.
Of course.
A dream collaboration, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. मेरे को लगता है इसके कितने elements भी होते हैं, right? एक अच्छे collaboration में definitely frequencies match करनी चाहिए. There has to be that creative instinct that you've been able to match with somebody, and an element of surprise, जो आपको पता ही नहीं है. And how do you account for all of these things to be controllable,
Exactly.
right?
There is no guarantee that आप कल किसी बड़े रैपर को यहाँ एक sort of ये एक सोच होती है कि मैं एक पॉप गाना लिखूंगा और उस पे बहुत इंडियन आर्टिस्ट करते हैं ऐसे, आपने देखा होगा, और कि वहाँ बाहर का कोई ऐसा रैप पॉप आर्टिस्ट करते हैं ऐसे, आपने देखा होगा, और कि वहाँ बाहर का कोई ऐसा रैप पॉप सॉर्ट ऑफ आर्टिस्ट डाल देंगे उस पे, एंड इट्स मेंट टू बी लाइक
The next peg.
but it doesn't happen.
That's true.
Why does it not happen? Because it has to be organic. It should make sense. If it makes sense, then it works. If it doesn't make sense, then what is the point? You're just wasting money,
Scared the hell out of me, bro. Yo, I've got to say, right, I fucking love those little inserts. Love those inserts. Thank you so much for that. Honestly, they made my night. And you missed out on some of the translations though, but it is what it is, fam. It is what it is. So, thanks for doing it anyway. I'm looking forward to part 2. And look, Krsna is that type of guy where, again, he's addressing actual problems. Not problems, what could be potential problems in the DHH scene and the whole, like I said, as a subcontinent. So yeah, made some good points. It's like, there's many languages, so how do you make a collaboration that's going to pop in both? Look, these are all relevant questions, and that's good that you hear it from an artist who is at the top of his game and who is obviously, watching out for the younger ones. So yeah, look, stay tuned. Obviously part 2 to come, and yeah, I'm going to go. I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, stay safe, stay alert, and good night from me.